In this video, I'm about to show you 10 US frozen yogurt brands to stay away from, and 5 you should actually be buying instead, starting with. Number 10. Blue Bunny Frozen Yogurt. Blue Bunny has strong brand recognition, families know the name. But when I pulled the ingredient list, I saw corn syrup solids sitting alongside sugar. That's what I call stacking sweetness. A half cup can reach 18 to 20 grams of sugar depending on flavor. Add artificial flavor systems and texture stabilizers like guar gum, and you're looking at something engineered for smoothness first, nutrition second. It's not illegal, it's just optimized for consumption speed. And when companies design products to go down easy without you noticing how sweet they are, that's strategic, not accidental. Number 9. Kemp's Frozen Yogurt. Kemp's markets itself as a trusted dairy brand, and that history does carry weight. But history doesn't reduce sugar. Many of their frozen yogurt varieties push close to 19 grams per serving. Several list corn syrup in addition to standard sugar. That's roughly 5 teaspoons in a small portion. When something labeled yogurt approaches soda-level sweetness, I start asking questions. Add artificial flavors and stabilizers to maintain shelf life during distribution, and you see the bigger picture. It's built for longevity in a warehouse, not simplicity in a kitchen. That difference matters. Number 8. Turkey Hill Frozen Yogurt. Turkey Hill has built a reputation on traditional American desserts, but when I reviewed their frozen yogurt labels, sweetness levels regularly approached 20 grams per serving. Some formulations in previous years included carrageenan, an additive debated for digestive sensitivities, though some products have since been reformulated. Even without that, sugar density remains high. What bothers me isn't indulgence dessert is dessert. What bothers me is marketing yogurt as the lighter option, while keeping sugar levels hovering near ice cream territory. That's perception management, and consumers deserve clarity, not positioning tricks. Number 7. Friendly's Frozen Yogurt. Friendly's leans heavily on nostalgia. If you grew up in certain states, that name brings back memories. But sentiment doesn't lower sugar. Several flavors list both sugar and corn syrup, pushing totals close to 20 grams per serving. Ingredient lists stretch longer than necessary for something marketed as a lighter alternative. Artificial flavors appear frequently. When corporations know people associate yogurt with health, but barely adjust sweetness from traditional ice cream levels, that's strategy. It banks on emotional attachment while maintaining high sweetness profiles, and that disconnect is exactly what frustrates shoppers. Number 6. Publix Frozen Yogurt. Publix store brand frozen yogurt looks like a budget win, and I understand the temptation, especially if you're watching every dollar. But ingredient panels show artificial flavors, multiple stabilizers, and sugar levels often hovering between 18 and 20 grams per serving. Store brands have enormous power because they control shelf space. They could push cleaner formulas and force national brands to compete. Instead, many mirror the same high sweetness model. When grocery chains prioritize cost efficiency over ingredient simplicity, it reinforces the cycle. Cheap up front, expensive long term. Number 5. Walmart Great Value Frozen Yogurt. Great Value frozen yogurt follows a familiar pattern. Sugar totals frequently approach 19 grams per serving. Artificial flavors and certain color additives appear in multiple varieties. Stabilizers help maintain texture across long transport routes and freezer storage. Again, none of this is illegal, but it's optimized for scale. When the goal becomes maximum volume at minimum production cost, ingredient quality often becomes secondary. Walmart moves enormous quantities of product nationwide. That kind of influence could drive reform. Instead, formulas stay sweetness heavy, and consumers rarely realize the trade-off. Number 4. Edy's or Dreyer's Frozen Yogurt. Edy's, known as Dreyer's in Western states, operates under a massive global food corporation. Scale should bring efficiency and ingredient control. Yet, sugar levels commonly sit between 19 and 20 grams per serving. Artificial flavor systems are standard. Stabilizers preserve texture during distribution. What struck me most is the branding emphasis on slow, churned, and lighter indulgence, while sweetness remains high. That creates a perception gap. When multinational corporations refine marketing language more than they refine formulations, trust erodes. Consumers notice eventually, and once trust cracks, it's hard to rebuild. Number 3. Baskin-Robbins packaged frozen yogurt. Baskin-Robbins built its empire on flavor variety, not restraint. Their packaged frozen yogurt reflects that. Sugar counts frequently climb near or above 20 grams per serving. Artificial flavor systems amplify intensity so each spoonful tastes bold and immediate. If this were marketed strictly as dessert, expectations would align. But the word yogurt implies moderation. That subtle implication influences buying decisions. When formulation doesn't meaningfully differ from ice cream sweetness levels, it feels like semantic positioning. Flavor innovation is fine, but clarity about sugar density should match the branding tone. Number 2. TCBY Store Pints. TCBY stands for the country's best yogurt. That's a confident claim. But ingredient lists often reveal sugars stacked with corn syrup derivatives in several flavors, pushing totals close to 20 grams per serving. Stabilizers and flavor enhancers appear as well. When I see a bold slogan paired with heavy sweetness, I question the alignment. Consumers associate yogurt with probiotics and balance, yet sweetness density can rival traditional frozen desserts. It's not about eliminating sugar entirely. It's about honesty in formulation versus promise in branding, and those two should match. Number 1. Menchie's packaged frozen yogurt. Menchie's built its reputation on customization and self-serve indulgence, but their packaged frozen yogurt products frequently approach or exceed 20 grams of sugar per serving. Artificial flavors appear across multiple varieties, and stabilizers maintain consistency during transport. What stands out most is portion psychology. When sweetness is engineered high and branding feels playful, overconsumption becomes easy. Yogurt positioning softens perception, while sugar density stays elevated. Consumers assume lighter impact. Formulation tells a different story. When perception and reality drift too far apart, that earns a number 1 spot for the wrong reasons. Now we shift gears, because for every company trying to do things right, there are others leaning hard into sugar stacking, stabilizer overload, and nostalgia marketing, and that's where we need to pay attention. Number 5. Stonyfield Organic Frozen Yogurt. I decided to start with Stonyfield because they've built their name on organic dairy, and unlike a lot of companies, they actually back that up. Their frozen yogurt uses USDA organic milk, and they publicly commit to no artificial growth hormones. When I looked at their ingredient list, it wasn't a chemistry experiment. Organic milk, organic cane sugar, live cultures. Sugar lands around 15 to 17 grams per serving, which is still dessert, but it's straightforward sugar, not layered syrups stacked together. When a company keeps ingredients recognizable and avoids high fructose corn syrup entirely, that matters, especially these days. Number 4. Yasso Greek Yogurt Bars. Now Yasso caught my attention because they use Greek yogurt as the base. That means more protein, usually 5 to 6 grams per bar, and that's not nothing. Most bars sit around 100 calories with roughly 12 to 14 grams of sugar. Compare that to traditional frozen yogurt pints pushing 20 grams per serving, and you start seeing the difference. They also avoid high fructose corn syrup across their main product line. When I see a brand trying to balance indulgence with better macronutrients instead of just chasing sweetness, I give credit. It feels intentional, not accidental. Number 3. Alden's Organic Frozen Yogurt. Alden's Organic is one of those brands that doesn't scream at you with flashy marketing. It just keeps things simple. Organic milk, organic cream, organic cane sugar, live active cultures. No artificial sweeteners, no artificial dyes. Their sugar usually averages around 16 grams per serving, which again, dessert territory, but nothing hidden. I actually compared multiple flavors, and the ingredient structure stayed consistent. That tells me formulation isn't fluctuating wildly for cost savings. When a brand maintains integrity across flavors instead of cutting corners quietly, that builds trust over time. Number 2. 365 by Whole Foods Market Frozen Yogurt. Now I know some folks roll their eyes at Whole Foods pricing, but their 365 line surprised me. No artificial colors, no artificial flavors, no high fructose corn syrup. Sugar generally sits between 14 and 16 grams per serving, depending on flavor. What stands out is supplier control. Whole Foods has ingredient standards suppliers must meet. That means fewer mystery additives sneaking in. Is it the cheapest option in the freezer? No. But when grocery prices keep climbing, I'd rather spend a little more on something transparent than waste money on something engineered for margin. Number 1. Strauss Family Creamery Organic Frozen Yogurt. Strauss Family Creamery earned the top spot because they don't hide behind trends. Certified organic dairy, regenerative farming practices, transparent sourcing in California. Their ingredient lists are refreshingly short: milk, cream, sugar, cultures, real flavor ingredients, no artificial stabilizers, no synthetic enhancers. Sugar typically lands around 15 grams per serving, and here's what really stood out. They openly talk about soil health and animal welfare, not just flavor. When a brand invests in farming practices instead of marketing gimmicks, that signals long-term thinking. And long-term thinking is something this industry desperately needs.